You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Strempke versus Jaramillo.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Strempke, you've dragged Mr. Jaramillo to court in hopes of saving your family, which you claim is falling apart due to paternity denial. You say the defendant doubts paternity for both of your daughters, 4-year-old Naviana and 8-month-old Alexis, but you want to prove that he is their father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Jaramillo, you claim your doubt is valid because you were present when another man impregnated Ms. Strempke, and the family you thought you were building is not salvageable until you have DNA proof. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Strempke, why is your family falling apart?
Your Honor, I feel like my family is falling apart because my daughters are basically growing up how I had to. We didn't have both parents, and even when we did have both parents present at different times, we were denied. I feel like they can't trust their dad because he denies that he's their dad half the time. And my 4-year-old Naviana knows. She can hear the, well, I'm not her dad anyway. And it just gives her doubt. And when she looks at her dad, there's not gonna be respect there. I can't expect her to do what he says if he's gonna say, I'm not your dad. She's 4 years old and she's smarter than most 4-year-olds. She knows.
Mr. Jaramillo, is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're expressing your paternity doubts in front of the children?
In some instances, it gets brought up in fights, and when the children are present, we get pretty loud about it.
This is not good. So take me back, this relationship. It's on the line now.
Yes.
How did it begin?
We met very young. I was 13. We met in a lockup facility. We were both staying at. We had no choice. We didn't have good childhoods at all, so we had to stay there. I see it now, and I don't want it to go down that road to where they have to go through what we did. And it's, sorry, I'm getting emotional.
It's okay. Listen, with 2 children and your family on the line, I understand that.
I met him very young, and being young, everybody says you don't know what love feels like, but I disagree. I feel like I've loved him since day one, loved him since I was 13 years old. He said that I was gonna, be his baby's mom a long time ago. And it's hurtful now that, yes, I am your daughter's mom. And it just gets shoved under a rug and forgotten about because he doesn't feel that those are his kids.
When you got pregnant with the oldest daughter, Naviana, what was the issue surrounding her paternity?
I had just gotten out of a relationship with my son's father and had moved back to Iowa. Well, I ended up where I had slept with another man. And this is before me and Mr. Jaramillo had gotten together. But it was very, very shortly after that we got together. And it was like maybe 3 or 4 weeks that I found out I was pregnant after we had first slept together. And he got a phone call from a girl that I had went to school with. And she called and decided to tell him that I was sleeping with multiple men. And from that point on, he had doubted it, which I really don't understand, because how can you base your daughter's paternity off of some girl you had never even met?
Well, it was one of your friends, you'd spent time with her.
What did she say to you exactly, Mr. Jaramillo?
She said that the baby that Miss Strempke has been impregnated with wasn't mine, that she had been sleeping with numerous males.
How long had you been together at that point?
We had been together for 2.5, 3 weeks.
Whoa. That was a short amount of time, Ms. Strempke.
Yes.
And you say you're pregnant.
It was about 4 weeks before I found out for sure that I was pregnant, but I started feeling differently, like when I was pregnant with my son. My favorite foods started making me nauseous just smelling them. The biggest sign was cigarettes. Anybody that had smoked and came back in anywhere around me, I'd instantly throw up. And that's how I know really early on.
But what I want you to understand is that, he gets this call and somebody says, this is not your baby, this is the person she was with before you.
Yes.
It's his baby. That would give any reasonable person some doubt.
Right.
Right?
Right, Your Honor.
And on top of that, Your Honor, to add to that, Navi was born 3 weeks early, so that drove in a lot of doubt as well.
So in addition to the phone call, then she was born 3 weeks earlier than expected. So if you counted back 3 weeks, that's about the time when
that was about the time that the other males were present.
I was
Then-
upfront with you and told you that there was one other person before we had
You
gotten
said
together.
one other person, and then came another fellow that your best friend told me about.
I had never slept with anybody but one person besides you, and that was before we had gotten together.
But Naviana is 4 years old. Did you ever attempt to have a paternity test back then?
No, Your Honor, because every time I brought it up, it was always, oh, I know she's mine. I know she's mine. I mean, I have right here the birth
I'd like to see that.
certificate.
Jerome, will you pass me that evidence, please?
It's the birth certificate showing that he signed the affidavit saying, I know that's my daughter. I take 100% responsibility for her. If you had any doubts at that point, why would you sign such an important paper in her life?
Did you sign the birth certificate? This is your name.
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Alejandro Jaramillo. That's you.
Yes, Your
You
Honor.
signed it. So you acknowledged paternity. You said, this is my daughter.
Yes, I did. It was a moment of emotion. It was a moment of ecstatic joy.
I
You know,
think
was
it's
happy.
the
It was
only
my
thing that
first
you have to
parental,
hold against me.
I was happy as a father, I was happy in that moment that, yeah, I'm a father now.
So you signed it.
Yes, ma'am.
And then after you leave the hospital, those doubts start creeping in again.
Yes, Your Honor.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. So you're in this household. The questions of paternity are flying all over the place. But you're trying to make it work, or what are you doing? Because you have another baby.
That's the part that is the hardest for me to believe because I was done having kids. After I had a boy and I had a girl. I didn't want any more. Why push my luck? I have a boy, a girl, they're both amazing kids. And there was a point in time where the whole paternity of Naviana was not brought up and he was practically begging me for another child because he wanted to try to have a boy. I kept saying no, and then it ended up an actual conversation where I was like, okay, well, it wouldn't be the worst thing because we're getting along really well. The question of paternity is not being brought up anymore. And that's when we ended up deciding to spice up our sex life and everything. And we ended up having a female-female threesome with him. So he got to pick another woman. And it was what it was. We did it. And then it was maybe a couple weeks later, it got brought up. It'd only be fair if we had a male, and you. So I said, okay, all right, that's fine. It's something new and everything. And I had changed my mind on it and decided because I have so many body issues, not in the way I look after I've had a child and everything, that I decided no. Well, he persisted and kept bringing it up, and he ended up bringing his friend over.
You brought your friend over
His
Yes, Your
male
Honor.
friend.
to have a threesome with your children's mother.
Yes, ma'am.
Was this your suggestion, sir?
It was a mutual suggestion between Amber and I. We had gone through it back and forth between Miss Strempke and I. It was a toss-up back and forth. One minute she'd want to do it, the next minute she didn't. And from being with Amber, I know if she's going to do something, it has to be on the spot. So to get it done and over with, yeah, I did bring this friend of mine.
And so you all had sex. Did the friend use protection?
Neither one of us used protection, Your Honor.
Oh.
That's when it was approximately 3 weeks later, certain smells started making me sick again, so along came Alexis.
Do you blame yourself somewhat because
Oh, yeah. I blame myself for a lot.
you regret having that threesome?
I do. I regret having that threesome. I regret everything that has ever happened bad in our relationship.
And I hope this was a huge lesson
Oh, definitely.
in terms of, how to move forward in a relationship when you feel like you've hit a dead spot or you feel stagnant.
Go to a
It's
movie.
not go to a movie, right? Learn something new together, but don't invite someone else in your relationship. So you're not on Alexis's birth certificate.
No. And I feel like if it's important and she knows that I'm the father of Alexis, then why wouldn't she push the issue for such an important document?
That's the thing.
Signed Naviana's
I know
birth
you're the father of her,
certificate,
and
she
that's
says she knows
exactly
I'm
why
the
you
father.
signed the affidavit for her too.
We
the only
signed the
reason
affidavit.
he's not
It
on the
got
birth certificate,
sent
Your Honor,
back
is because
of
it got sent back.
We signed it, but there was an incorrection with the paper.
There
So,
was a
so the
clerical
paper
error.
had to go back.
Yep, the
get
paper had to go
corrected,
back, and
but
then
when
they
it came back, did you sign it?
No.
No.
So what you're saying is you feel disappointed or you feel that there's a disparity because you don't feel like she's pressing the issue to make sure you sign it.
No.
And that is an indicator to you that she really doesn't know who
That's
Alexis'
a very big indicator.
father is. But considering the timing of the pregnancy after the admitted threesome without protection, do you need her to explain it? I mean, isn't it obvious that there is a paternity question?
Yeah.
So, Ms. Strempke, did you ever speak to your doctor? I mean, this was 3 or so weeks after you all had this threesome that you found out you were pregnant. Did you go for your appointments, your ultrasounds?
I went to the first doctor's appointment by myself, and the doctor that I saw assured me that there was no possible way that I had to have already been pregnant before that. It cleared my conscience. I felt better about it, like, okay, I had to have already been pregnant when this happened, and I felt better about it. So I allowed him to go to the next doctor's appointment, and then we saw a different doctor, and the doctor turned around and put the doubt, laid it out on the table, like there's no possible way this baby could be just one person's. There's a 50-50 chance.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, with
I'm
Lexi,
not just gonna accept
Lexi
that he
looks
says
like
he
my
feels
buddy
bad.
that we had the threesome with. Like,
You believe she does?
I believe she does. Like, me and my buddy have talked about it. There's some similarities. I don't have that light of hair.
You may be Hispanic, but her mom is white.
So is
could've
my
taken
buddy.
more
My buddy
after
is
me.
white. And when I first told him that there was a chance that he might be the father, he said he wants to be involved. He doesn't want to be apart from her if this is his, I want this paternity test done. I want to know. I have to know.
What are you gonna do if that's not your baby? You're gonna walk. That's my biggest fear, is that they're gonna walk, and then my other daughter, Naviana, whom there is no doubt other than somebody's say-so, and she's gonna lose her dad because of a threesome? Like, that's what I feel like I'm stuck with right now, is my daughters are not gonna have a dad if this turns out to where Lexi is his friends like he thinks so much.
It is scary. I mean, you say, oh, we just did this to spice up our relationship. Now it's too hot.
Yeah.
It's too hot. I'm not even being funny. It's too hot. It's too much.
It's too much drama,
too
Your
much.
Honor.
Exactly.
There's too much question. There's too much doubt. It's not fair to either one of us. It's not fair to them, mostly. I look at them every day, and I worry about them. What kind of life they're going to live. Just because I screwed up, because I have my doubts, it's just not fair to them. It's not fair to her. I want to know for me, because it's for me to be a man and for me to be the father of these girls, I need to know without a doubt.
Your Honor, I think there was always doubt there. I think it's just when he doesn't want to be a dad anymore, it's just an easy ticket out, is what I think it is.
You think
because
he's looking for a way out?
I do. I think that's what it is because, to everybody else and on the outside, he's such a great dad, but when we're at home and he denies that child, it's me. I know for a fact, Naviana, she's 100% my daughter, and I would never know how it feels to have to question my own child. But this has got to stop. She knows. There's times that she won't listen to him, and well, you're not my dad, because
Really?
she's heard it. And that's not from me. I have a son that's not in this relationship that I would never talk about his parent like that, no matter how upset I get. But for the fact that he has said it and she's heard it from his mouth, I don't know how she feels. The only thing I can base that on is how I grew up, being denied, being told I don't want you, being told you're not loved, and I don't want her to grow up like that. And that's why we're here, because she cannot grow up and feel unwanted.
That just really, I hate hearing that. I really do, that a young girl has to hear that kind of thing at 4 years old.
I regret fighting and arguing about the paternity of these little girls. The only thing I don't regret is having them.
Yeah.
I just want to know if they are mine.
You all have been very honest today. And I commend the fact and I respect the fact that you've been truthful. And I have the ultimate truth, the one you came here for. I have that for you today. Jerome, the envelopes. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. Do you want to watch Paternity Court on TV? Go to paternitycourt.tv to find your local listings. In the case of Strempke versus Jaramillo, when it comes to 4-year-old Naviana Jaramillo, it has been determined by this court court. Mr. Jaramillo, you are the father. The next result reads as follows. In the case of Strempke versus Jaramillo, when it comes to 8-month-old Alexis Jaramillo, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Jaramillo, you are the father.
Oh my God, this is so good. This is so good.
You look so relieved.
I am.
And I hope you all understand now that you have this clarity, that this clarity will present itself on many levels in your relationship. The fact that having sex without protection and inviting other people into the relationship, it's not Monopoly. It's not better with more people. It's not a game. Every couple gets into disagreements. But arguing in front of children, with 4-year-old ears, and even 8 months old, children have spirits. They still take in negative energy. You may have some things you need to discuss, but you need to discuss it in private. Clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
I wish you the very best of luck. Take care of those girls.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Court is adjourned.